Get your rub on with Addicted to the Q.
Did we lose Brian?
Possibly, man. I don't see him up here on my end.
He'll join back. Let me put you in my phone holder. My tripod. So, you ready to get started?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Whenever you're ready, brother.
All righty. Introduce yourself and tell us about yourself and what you do in the barbecue world.
Yes, sir. So, Kell Phelps, publisher of BBQ News Magazine, also a managing partner of National Barbecue and Grilling Association. I've been in the barbecue and grilling industry for about 30 years now. Even started real young on the backside, learning to run printing presses and proofread pages and all such as that. But yeah, man. So I kind of cut my teeth on barbecue as a teenager. My dad and his fishing buddy would actually go out and compete, and I was the teenager making sure all the beer cans were empty and liquor bottles were empty and all such as that. So just trying to make sure they were picked up and disposed of properly, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's my background, man. Been doing it ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and still think I got the best job in the world, regardless.
So is that the one that does the rub contest also?
Absolutely, man. In the fall every year, we do a rub contest. It's called Rubs of Honor. And then in the spring, we do a Sauces of Honor event. Absolutely, man. Just finished up the rubs back in November. 503 different entries this year in that contest. So it's kind of crazy. A lot different than any other rub contest where we actually we take and prepare those proteins that we're trying to find the best seasoning for. We prepare them right on a grill versus cooking unseasoned meat and then season up, putting that seasoning there and try it. We actually season it up and cook each and every entry before we send it into the judges' room there. So
how did you go about entering that?
Yeah, so you just catch it. We usually start entry about 45 days or so before deadline. Through the magazine, BBQnews.com, on the website, on social media, all of our social media pages, we keep it tabbed up to the front, and we run it hard for all 45 or so days when we're taking entries. It's $30 per entry, and you don't actually have to have a commercial based product. You can actually have inner homemade products, self-made products from that. So
that's what I was going to ask next, whether you actually had to have it commercially made.
Yeah, nope. A lot of events do. Now, the NBVQA event that we're in the process of doing now, it does have to be commercially based. But the BBQ News rubs and sauces of honor, they do not have to be commercially available.
They have to enter one.
Yeah, well, Brian did. He entered several, man. He's
oh yeah,
he took advantage and
ironed her a lot.
Yeah, did real good there. So
hopefully it keeps going. We got NBVQA coming up, so hopefully we get some more calls there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're matter of fact, we're headed up to Memphis this coming weekend, and that's where we're at Mark Lambert's place. He's graced us for the last 6-7 years and actually helped us judge that event. And once again, we asked him to help us out with that. So we'll be doing that this weekend. Looks like it's going to be kind of cold up around the Memphis area. So us Georgia folks will take our long johns and big heavy coats and all that stuff so we don't freeze to death up there. But looking forward to it for sure.
So when did the BBQ News Magazine start?
BBQ News Magazine started in 1990. My background, I think I told you a little bit about my dad and his fishing buddy actually doing some competitions. Is how they got started in the barbecue world. But move fast forward a couple of years as they got going. My mom and dad both ran the local newspaper here in our local town. And this was before the internet and all that stuff. So there was really no magazine or newsletter or anything going out to everybody as the competition world started growing that had a calendar of events or told, anything about what was going on. If you weren't in that little clique, you just didn't know about it. So I think they started cooking in the middle 80s, 85, 86. And in 1990, they decided to start National BBQ News, which was a printed 4-page tabloid. And that's where it all got started there in February of 1990 was the first issue that was published. Absolutely. And then, believe it or not, it's kind of funny, even to this day, the number one most looked at pages on our website come from the calendar pages. So it's kind of funny how that's what we all started out about doing, and still making it happen there. And that's still what's being shown today more than anything else. So it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So when did the NBVQA start, and tell us about it?
Yeah, so NBVQA, which is the National Barbecue and Grilling Association, started in 1991. Basically, some restaurateurs, caterers, even a couple of grill manufacturers got together and decided that needed to be a trade association for the barbecue and grilling industry. At that time, the only thing was around was Hearth and Patio Association, and they had tried to adopt the barbecue side into it, but they actually, a few years later, after NBVQA started, finally resolved and made that part of their official name then as HPBA. But the NBVQA, those guys actually got together, decided to make the trade association and to do some work as far as spreading their knowledge as far as the professional side of barbecue, whether it be catering, restaurants, grill manufacturing, man, you name it. NBVQA has grown to be the largest and most diverse, definitely not the largest, but the most diverse barbecue group in the world. I mean, there's if it's got something to do with barbecue, whether it's rub sauce guys, caterers, restaurant guys, grill guys, photographers, web makers, webmasters, people who are teaching classes. If it's about barbecue and grilling, I guarantee you we can point you to a member that can help you, and should they are willing to share their knowledge to help somebody new or thinking about getting into the industry. So that's what NBVQA is all about, and we're excited to be helping that association along. Our conference is set for we do a yearly conference basically where we invite folks in to learn from those who have been there and done that, and this year it's slated for February 15th through 18th, happening in Orlando, Florida, just about 1 mile from Walt Disney World. But so it definitely a vacation destination this year. But oh man, we've just got back from there last week. We did our final site visit and planning a bus tour to tour some of the local restaurants there on Wednesday. Man, and it's coming along really well. I mean, we're flying now with all of the educational part of it. We're getting ready to hopefully release all of that information as far as who's presenting and the classes that they will be presenting. We hope to do that on December the 15th is our proposed deadline to release all that information. But should be a great event. And actually going to have a Saturday almost day full of master barbecue classes, working on finishing all that up. Also having a double SCA event on Saturday. Friday night, we'll always have the Rhinestone Cowboy Cook-Off. And that's always a big hoot where all the big guys that you see on TV and hear their names, they all get together and try to see who can cook the best steak. And so that's always a huge fun event, and that'll be taking place on Friday night. But anybody can actually enter that and put their name in the hat and go against all those big guys too. So that's always a hoot. And a lot of, I think right now we're slated with 14 different educational sessions that we'll be doing on Thursday and Friday, with the bus tour and a welcome reception happening on Wednesday of that. So kind of give you a little information about NBVQA, but you can definitely learn more on the website. It's nbbqa.org.
So if I get at least 3 calls, I told the wife we're going down there this year or next year, but Tuesday is Disney World. And then Wednesday through Saturday is you.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I tell you, we worked our tails off when we got a great rate. The room rates are like $130 a night, I think, where we're at. And when you add 4 or 5 days, that's darn, that's still a lot of money. But the one thing that we always try to pride ourselves on is that we want everybody to get their money's worth before they leave. So whether it's networking, increasing their network, learning something that makes it worthwhile, where they'll save that amount of money or can show and see where that amount of money they spent to attend was worth it. So, and hey, listen, the Disney World Tuesday trip, man, that's priceless. When you got little ones running around at Walt Disney World, you're never going to forget that, man. Never.
Yeah.
Cool.
So do you do competitions yourself?
Man, I do. I try to compete in a little bit of all of it, believe it or not. I hadn't had the opportunity to head out to Texas and cook some of those other association organizations like I had done in the past, but I usually try to cook at least one KCBS. I try to do one Florida. I try to do 1 or 2 SCAs. And I also try to judge, if I can try to judge 1 or 2 of those, it just helps me stay in the loop as far as, if somebody calls and got a question, about what's going on, then at least I can give them some type of, knowledgeable answer because I've been there and done that, and to me, that's the kind of feedback anybody who's asking questions wants is, not what they think, but what they know and what they've been there and done that. What was their experience with it? So, yeah, that's my try. That's my deal. And, yeah, I cook. I cook more here working on different product reviews. People would be amazed at how many products come in through the barbecue news people want us to try. So I bet we're firing the grill up on an average probably 5 nights a week. And the hard thing is they're not our recipes, so we don't always know if it's going to turn out real good or not. So um, if we're not real sure at all, and we've kind of did the finger test, and tried it but ahead of time, especially on rubs or some kind of sauce, then we'll always cook a little extra with a proven product that we know, just so that we don't go to bed hungry. So
So, what kind of grills and smokers do you use?
oh my gosh. I think there's 18, 19 now in the staple that we have. Um, we use them all. I learned early on, I cut my teeth on a Weber kettle, gas, just a charcoal grill, not a gas, just the old kettle charcoal grill. That was what I cut my teeth on, just direct grilling. Learning how to control fire, and then it went from there to indirect pits. And I can tell you, my favorite thing is still today is when I'm cooking just for us at the house is the Weber kettle. I mean, I love don't get me wrong now, I love the pellet grill when you're in a hurry, fire that thing up and turn it up 400, 500 degrees. And as long as you've done your due diligence and clean that thing out, you don't have to worry about burning the house down or burning supper up. But they make it real easy, and they're good. And even slowing them down, adding smoke to fish and different things like that, they make it super easy. I love the pellet grills. One of the things we see now, as far as industry wide, pandemic was huge for the grill world. A lot of grills were sold. People staying at home cooking, wanted to learn the barbecue and grilling side, and now they're to the point where they're looking for that second or third grill and wanting to challenge yourself a little more. So that's exciting to answer those questions. People calling in and said, "Hey man, I got started on the pellet grill, but I'm looking to do something a little different." And we'll probably average 1 or 2 of those a week. And that's those kind of questions excite me, because that's telling us that our world is going and growing, and people are wanting to learn more about what we're doing and how we do it. So
That's pretty cool. That's kind of why me and Brian started the YouTube, to be able to kind of help people or do some products and recommend stuff for people that are trying to learn too.
I tell you, man, it's amazing this weekend. Even this weekend, there at the right outside Mercedes Benz there with the SEC fanfare deal they were doing. Oh my gosh, there were so many of those influencers who were there, learning, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about this or hadn't thought about that." They'd see a technique used, and it's amazing how you never really learn it all. And if it's people like you guys who are sharing, who continue that learning curve and keep it going. I tell people every day, man, I am like I feel like a school kid, because I learned, the old school newsprint stuff in my world as far as publishing and putting information out. But oh my gosh, all this video and Facebooking and social media, man, it changes so much. And I'm an old guy, golly, dude, just give me a pen and a piece of paper, I'm good to go. Then I'll type it out, make it work, and go shoot a picture of it, whatever we need to do. But it's crazy. But I feel like a school kid going to school every day to learn something new in the changing world. But it's cool. Still wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world for sure.
Oh yeah. So, what's your favorite barbecue restaurant, either in the U.S. or outside of the U.S.?
Ooh, golly, man, there's no way. There's no way I could narrow it to one. There's a ton of good ones. Matter of fact, we've eaten at some good ones here in the last little bit. Oh mercy, yeah, I'm gonna tell you. Sonny's, the chain restaurant has we've eaten at a couple of those places over the last little bit. They're on. They're going to sign up and be on our bus tour. So we eat at one of them in Orlando. We eat at one in Tifton, Georgia, the other day. They had a grand opening, and they're huge NBVQA members. Invited us over for a sneak peek, and man, I gotta tell you, it's good. Anytime I go to Fort Worth, Texas, always I'll go 50, 70, 80 miles out of the way to eat at 407 with Brian McLarty and them guys. And there's a ton of other places, man. And golly. In the Houston area, we love all the Austin guys, making the trip there. Salt Lake, the Shed when we come down I-10. We love stopping in there. My baby girl and Meemaw's salad stuff. Whew, she'll make us make a detour for that stuff. But to tell you there's one, there's no way, man. There's just too many of them. And we're blessed because we stay on the road a bunch, so we eat a bunch at a lot of them, so we try a bunch of different ones. But I can tell you this, inside the magazine, we've got a restaurant guide. But before anybody goes on that restaurant guide, we got to go in there, sit down and eat. And if it's not worthy, they don't get the opportunity to publicize their stuff right there. So if you wanted to know a list of what I approve, there it is right there. That's a good place to start for sure.
So how do you go about joining the NBVQA?
Yeah, NBVQA, man. So it's set up as 3 different tiers of members. We've got an enthusiast. So if you're wanting just to jump in to start learning what's happening and as far as increase your network and knowledge, it's $99 a year. And that's NBVQA.org. So you can just log on right there and go to join. You can also join as a professional member. It's $175 a year. And that gives you a few more access to what we call our special interest groups. So, we talked a little bit about how diverse NBVQA is. So what we do is we divide our membership up into special interest groups where we kind of let all the caterers get together, all the restaurant guys get in one group, all the rub and sauce guys, they have their own little group. And those professionals can choose 3 different groups to be a part of. And then we have a business membership that's $500 a year. But the advantage to doing the business is if you own a business and you've got 3 or 4 or 5 people under you, they all get professional memberships underneath you for that $500. So they get the $175 membership, and that comes with 4 of those with each business member. So that's if you got a company that's got 6, 7 different people that you want to help, you can add those for like I think $50 a year or something like that as well after the 4. But that's basically the rundown on the membership package for NBVQA.
So what's your favorite meat to cook and which one's your least favorite?
Oh man, favorite is if if I got the right cooker or cinder block pit and have a lot of time, man, I love to cook a whole hog. I love to go down and low and slow, make my own coals in the chimney, shovel them up under there, and make a cinder block pit. Old school, man. That's my favorite. That's make sure the skin becomes crisp on the back, and divvy all that goodness up too. So that's my favorite thing to cook. If I got time to do it. But it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, that's my favorite. Least favorite? Oh my goodness, man. I don't know. I got a least favorite. Brisket's always been a challenge, just because here we don't have it's hard for us to find quality meat. Here in South Georgia, with brisket, it's getting better. But most of the time we go down to Sam's or Costco, something like that, to find the great piece of meat to cook. So,
yeah.
What about hot dogs?
Oh man, I eat hot dogs all the time. I love them. We'll fire up the pellet grill, and you got that. So we cheat on the pellet grill. You got the divider up, the heat divider. So we push the divider all the way to the back, and that leaves a bigger gap, of direct fire. So yeah, we char up the hot dogs, on the little cheater gap right there is what we call it. But yeah. Love hot dogs.
Whole hog is definitely on my bucket list, just like you described. The old-fashioned cinder block pit, shoveling coals. That's one of things I want to do in barbecue before I give it up.
Man, I tell you, it's really, people are so scared. People cook hamburgers and hot dogs. They're scared of a Boston butt. Scared of the brisket. But a lot of people are scared of the whole hog. Now, let me tell you, man, don't try it by yourself. If you got a little suckling pig or something like that, it's not so bad. But when you grab 120 pound hog and you trying to flip him and, make sure you got plenty of help, and make sure they stay out of the alcohol until after you flip him and are done. Because it takes a while. So absolutely.
So, do you have any barbecue mentors?
Oh my gosh, yes. Of course, my daddy, Doc Gillis. Some of the stuff and the techniques, they taught us back then. How to build bark. How to brine meat. Make sure that sugar burns at this temperature. Make sure you always cook by internal temperature. Man, all that stuff, my dad and Doc Gillis taught me. But you start talking about the other techniques, Mike Mills, oh my gosh, Myron, Mixon, Ray Lampy, those guys. I got a chance to go to some of their very first schools back in the early 90s, middle 90s, when they started doing competition schools and stuff. So some of those, yeah, they're all mentors to me, man. Melissa Cookston, seeing some of the stuff she creates now, different stuff just to grill and daily cook with is, yeah, all those folks are mentors for sure.
So, do you have any advice for any up and coming barbecue cooks in both the backyard or in the competition trail?
Oh yeah. So first thing, man, if you really, really, really wanting to get serious about it, watch, pay attention. There's enough information out now. YouTube, like you guys are sharing information. There's enough information out that gets you going and teach you the right way. Now, I will say this. I hate it, but there's enough bad information too that you can screw up and turn something off in a heartbeat too. But man, just try it. just don't be afraid to get and try it, but watch and learn. Take a class. If somebody's got a class in your region, man, sign up and go get it. Because some of that stuff that you're learning will take you from average to out of this world barbecue guy, without a doubt.
And usually those classes will pay for themselves in a couple of calls.
Oh yeah, if you're a competition guy, man, you're crazy for not going to a class. And I will tell you this too: if you're getting ready to go to and compete, man, the first thing you need to do is sign up and judge, so you know what's being turned in, what it looks like, and get some of the profiles that are being used. Not that you can duplicate them, but you get an idea of what's being turned in, so you can compare it and do your own thing, but you know what's being turned in. But yeah, go and judge first before you start perfecting your profiles and all that stuff, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely what I started. I started judging a few years before I started competing.
Oh yeah. So what do you think? I mean, it probably made you a 10-time better first product when you turned it in, right?
Yes. The only thing that's I would say is better is knowing that it's not right, but trying to figure out how to fix it. That's the part that was kind of challenging. Like, I know what it's supposed to look like, and I know what it's supposed to taste like, but getting it to taste like that or look like that.
So I'm waiting for Brian to make some type of duct tape for that. When we tear something up, we can always put duct tape on it, right? So, Brian, you got some barbecue duct tape in the works down there, man?
I was actually thinking of trying food glue at one of my next competitions.
I've seen it, man, but I just can't. Oh my gosh, I've seen it in the steak deal, but I just can't bring myself to try it. So,
Well, I want to try it, but I want to take a brisket and a pork belly, slice them up, and then every other one do food glue in between, skewer it, cut them so you have like a little checkerboard type for a skewer.
yeah, well, like the cutting boards they do, the checkerboard. Yeah, there you go, man.
I want to try that, cook it, just see what it's going to be like.
You got to keep me in the loop on that one. I would be interested to see what that come out like.
That's going to be a $300 product test on the video.
No doubt.
I just did a product there. That wasn't really a product test. It was that fan controller for Inkbird. Today I did one for that, and it was pretty cool.
Cool.
I'd never used a fan controller before, but they're pretty good.
Man. When it in cold weather, man, it makes all the difference in the world, and it's crazy. So, I mean, some of these guys now are building the cookers so consistent. Used to, man, you might have a 1/8 inch gap and you might have a 1/2 inch gap to get air intakes, but now these guys, they have got, especially these guys building the drums, they are the same every single one that comes out and goes out, and they'll hold temperature. Now when the wind starts blowing and cold weather starts hitting the metal, you get cold spots that way. But the fan controller helps. It helps to keep take some of the elements, some of the weather elements out of it. But still, even if it gets too cold, you can always go to the old army blanket, and wrap that thing around it and help keep it consistent too. But yeah, absolutely.
So what's your favorite NFL team? This is from Brian.
NFL team, man. So I'm a huge college fan. I love watching the boys, get drafted and move up. I don't know, man. I mean, listen, I was a Cowboy. I was a Dallas Cowboy with way back when from South Georgia. Just Herschel Walker got to go play with those guys. We had a guy out of Douglas that made it to their practice squad and actually got signed. He played, I don't know, maybe 2 years up there, played tight end, but he was a He was a big old boy, but if I had to get, I would probably say the Cowboys, man, because I've always been enamored with the silver breeches and the star. I always thought that was pretty cool. So,
Okay, so quick question: Winter Olympics. Which is your favorite sport? Curling, figure
okay.
skating, or ice hockey?
It's got to be ice hockey, man. I mean, these guys beat the crap out of each other. So it's, I love watching hockey. I just don't understand the rules enough. I need somebody to really explain like the icing rule and some of those rules. But man, when they get going and any sport that would just stop what they're doing and let two people go at it and work it out amongst themselves for a little bit, man, if they did that on the football field, that it would probably be a 8-hour game instead of a 3-hour game or whatever. But yeah,
that's what I said about hockey. I don't get it. They'll beat the crap out of each other, and that's fine. But let one of them do that icing penalty or whatever it is, and that's a big deal. I don't know.
I just I kind of get frustrated because I don't understand the rules, and then they just all of a sudden they stop and it's like, well, what was that, But anyway, maybe somebody can teach me that one day.
So what does the future look like for you?
A future, man. Whoo. It's smoking. No matter what we do, we're going to keep it smoking. So, man, we're just trying to, keep our heads down. And like I say, I learn something every day as far as some of the social media stuff, some of the digital graphics, how to do these things a lot better than what we've been doing. And man, I hope we can grow and bring people in that have that knowledge of those, this old dog can only learn so many tricks, that I know. But we have not had any employees until we did the NBVQA deal in the spring, and now we've got one full-time employee, and it's me and it's Janet. So that's us. It's the three of us, and we're running two businesses full-time with that. So our next goal is to hire somebody with some type of experience with social media and website deal that can help us with those combination of digital products, because the flipping book that we do is it's got a lot of capabilities that we don't use now. So we can use them, and we hope to start using them coming up in the next year. That's our goal for 23. Start putting videos inside the digital magazine. And we've had that capability for a while, but we just don't have the resources to sit down and edit, the time and resources to edit those clips and all that down. But so 23, that's what you can look for in the magazine. But hopefully halfway through, when we get done with conference and start planning a couple other things with NBVQA, some master classes going out through the summer. Our goal would be hire a full-time webmaster and social media producer. So,
well, if you're looking to spawn off a team to cook, Brad and I are available.
Well, look, man, that's usually the way I do it. You asked about when I go and do competitions. Very seldom do I ever go and do one by myself. So if I show up and I'm cooking, I'll always catch some friends, in the area, region or whatever, and say, "Hey, come cook with me." Not only so I can enjoy it a little more and not have to work quite as hard, but also they'll introduce me to people around, so it makes it a win-win situation for sure when you got 3 or 4 or 5 together versus just one. But golly, yeah, I miss first one I did really big. We did the Murfreesboro very first time they did the dual sanction deal. And a group of us from our old forum got down there. I think it was 7 of us. Golly, we did every category, every turn in there was. We were dead dogs by the time we got done, but those were fun times, no doubt. So
Murfreesboro is my old stomping grounds. I lived in Marion for 4 years, so.
Oh, really, man? Well, listen, you talked about restaurants. Anytime I'm headed up that way to St. Louis or Kansas City, we go right through there. We'll always stop at 17th Street right there for sure. So, hands down.
That's a good one.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, Brian, do you have anything else for him before I let him go?
Nope. I know I'll be seeing him this coming year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we're excited about that. And like always, man, we appreciate all you guys do to support. But if we can help you in any way, man, you let us know. But we're looking forward to seeing you guys grow and go too. So
that'd be great. I might do the sauce.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So be looking into spring. That'll be happening probably early March. Early March, middle of March, somewhere around there. So
sounds great. Well, thank you for coming on. I know you're busy. Taking time out of your busy schedule.
Hey, man, you guys got it, man. If I can help you anytime, I appreciate it. And yep, if I can help you anyway, anytime, let me know, man.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one. Take care. Yes, sir.
You too.